Welcome back to the crypt. So, Half Price Books had its coupon sale pretty recently, and it might be the last, since it might have been the last coupon sale probably for a while, since a lot of businesses are kind of shut down for the foreseeable future. We're gonna call this the last half price half sale. So there wasn't. I didn't get to go every day like I used to. So all this stuff was kind of found like on like the last day. So I had something put on hold for me, and they were cool enough to keep it on hold. Uh, yeah, big stretch there, right? But yeah, so I wasn't able to go in, and normally this stuff I would have found probably earlier in the week and then gotten like one title at a time. But since that wasn't really an option, we kind of had to. Well, we kind of ended up paying a lot for this stuff. So, and there weren't any Blu-rays in this trip, but there were pretty high quality DVDs. So, let's begin with Octopus, which this is kind of a TV. This is a TV movie that I first saw on I think USA a long time ago. Uh, it's actually not so bad. Like I remembered it being pretty crummy when I first saw it on TV. But well, it ended up being a much better than this cover art would suggest. So it does kind of try to do too many things at once though. So it's the first half of the quarter of the movie or so. There's like a terrorist bombing in some Soviet bloc looking country, and they are able to arrest the terrorist from Die Hard, which is what he looks. That's kind of what he looks like. I think his name's like Felix or something in this movie. And for some reason, they have to take him to the U.S. on a nuclear submarine. So, meanwhile, there's like a plan to, well, to have him take over the submarine and escape. So his comrades infiltrate a cruise ship, and so the cruise ship is going to intercept the submarine. But there's kind of a big wrench in that plan because the submarine passes through the territory of a giant mutated octopus. Which, it's kind of difficult to analyze because while there's some pretty terrible CGI, apparently they did indeed build a really nice looking practical octopus. And there are a lot of shots where it's like, why didn't they use the practical octopus? Although, I don't know, you don't necessarily get a whole lot of good looks at it, so it's very strange. It was made in that period when CGI was becoming cheap, yet practical effects were still like the dominant effects. So I think this is from like 2000, right? Oh, of course it doesn't seem to actually say. Awesome. Well, at any rate, not as bad as I thought. Like I think Octopus 2 is actually better, which the plot of that makes even less sense because there's a giant octopus in like the New York River or whatever. But at least they use more practical effects than that, I think. It was kind of pricey. It was like $8, which is a lot for a DVD, honestly. Although this does seem to be like a rarer one, so I was okay with paying that. Plus, I have Octopus 2 like over on the shelf, and it'll go with that. And to my surprise, this came with a 25-minute making of documentary, which is pretty unusual for movies like this, especially on DVD. And it was a pretty good little featurette. I was really impressed. So they detailed making the practical octopus, which does look really good, like in those shots. So I was watching it the whole time, like, where was this in the movie? Uh, Seeing their like concept sketches, and then you get a bit of a tour of like the sets and how they built like the submarine interiors. And I think that was almost more. Well, I was gonna say that was almost more entertaining than the movie, but not really. Like this was a surprisingly good package for what it was. Like I was startled. And then kind of our first crime of opportunity pickup. So this is the Anchor Bay release of something called Condor Man, which I have heard of but never seen myself. This was $3, and when I saw it, it comes with no extras, and when I saw it, I was like, wait a minute, that sounds familiar. And I looked it up, and it's like 25 online. So I was like, well, if we want to see it, this is our chance. And then moving on to kind of our more exciting pickups. So I'm in some Facebook groups for horror collecting, and somebody was selling the set of Carnosaur movies, like Roger Corman's Carnosaur, for $75, and I thought, yeah, right. And then I actually started looking them up, and it's like, whoa, why are these so rare and expensive? Because apparently Carnosaur is something that's hard to get your hands on. But I did. So, they had this... oh, excuse me. My mouth's getting kind of dry here. Not sick, I promise. So, this was the first Carnosaur on DVD for $15, which it felt like a lot until I looked it up. And turns out this goes for $30 pretty consistently. Despite the popularity of Carnosaur as a cult classic, I guess it's just never had a particularly great release. There was a rumor about Shout Factory doing a Carnosaur set at some point, but I don't know what really happened to that, because that was a rumor from 2018, and we haven't heard, well, anything at all about it ever since. So I think this is fairly bare bones, too. So the trailer, cast biographies, oh, you remember that annoying thing that earlier DVDs did, where they would have basically the actor's IMDb page, like, on the disc? Apparently that was a thing in here too, so I guess you can get Carnosaur 1 and 2 as a 2-pack, and that's really valuable, but they're also valuable like as separate titles. So $15 was a pretty good bargain for this, even though it's kind of damaged, like there's some water damage to the interior here. It's actually kind of stuck in there too, because you know when something gets wet, it like clings to the inside. Let me see if I can... yeah, I can feel it kind of ripping if I try to take it out of there. So that's probably why it was like $15 instead of like the $30. But, you know, until a better set comes out, you know, this is as good as it gets for Carnosaur. And I've been meaning to rewatch it for a long time anyway, because the first Carnosaur, it has kind of like this weird anti-corporate plot to it. Like it's hard to describe. Like, supposedly it's a much better movie than I remember, because in the past when I saw it, it's like, ooh, dinosaurs. It's like, ew, this is gross. You know, because I was like 8. So, but yeah, it'll be great to revisit that. And then a lot of luck on that trip. So they had Carnosaur 2, which actually, if I hadn't gone that specific day, I might not have been able to pick up. Because they had just put the label on this, and it wasn't even out on the shelf yet. Because I found Carnosaur, and I asked, hey, do you guys have any of the other Carnosaur movies? After realizing how valuable the trilogy was, and they had just priced this and put it out, and hadn't even gotten to put it out yet. So they just took it out from under the counter and handed it to me. Now, Carnosaur 2, I have a lot more memory of Carnosaur 2. Actually, when I was really little, and I saw it, it wasn't as, like, gross and bleak as the first Carnosaur, and so I would rewatch this movie a lot, and I had a Super Nintendo at the time, like a lot of other, I want to say lower middle class kids, which is what we were back then. And I actually had, like, a little idea, too. I pretended there was a Carnosaur video game. Like, I sketched out, you know, what the levels would be like, you know, going down into the bunker. So, it ended up being kind of a lot like Aliens, actually. And so I have a lot of fond memories. Like, I could see what it would look like in 16 bits in my mind. It was an interesting time. So, but I'm happy I get to revisit it. So, one of the weird things about Carnosaur, I think this is also bare bones. Yep, cast biographies, because these do come in like a 2-pack. Like, like when I first moved to Milwaukee, this was one of the first titles I picked up. So it's the Roger Corman 2-pack thing. And so Carnosaur 1 and 2 does come in one of these. that I just didn't encounter. And that sells pretty high, actually. That was priced at like 50, 40 when I saw it. But I think that might be why. So by itself, Carnosaur can go for 30. By itself, 15 is about normal for this. So this wasn't some kind of spectacular deal to the point I almost passed on it. But I kind of decided, you know what? No, just get it now in case you regret it later. And now, since we can't really go out and collect anymore for the foreseeable month, if not longer, then, hey, good call. So, and then, kind of the true prize. Why am I packing these up? And then the true prize of the last half-price book sale. So I saw this the week before, and I had them put it on hold for me. So they were, well, they technically did me a special favor. Let me put it on hold slightly early. But it's NECA's They Live Clothed Alien set, which was pretty awesome. Like, I was really shocked to see this at half price as well, because I didn't even know it was out yet. So, I mean, I knew NECA was making it. I knew some people had gotten, like, pre-orders here and there. I did not know this was on shelves anywhere yet, so I saw it there used, and I was like, what? So, it was 60, and with my half-off coupon, I got this for 30. So, pretty amazing deal. Since I think the retail is still 60 on this. If it's not, then, you know, that's on me. But, you know, for 30, I'm really happy to have this. Because a lot of my horror collecting has been somewhat monochromatic lately. Like, we got a lot of aliens, we got a lot of Freddy, a lot of Jason. And I love being able to, like, switch it up and get different characters. So, with that said, I'm not going to open these. Like, it's easier to display things sometimes just in the box. And, you know, what are we gonna do? Like, pose them at, like, are we gonna, like, craft a little desk and, like, pose them at it? So, but it just comes with, like, the newspaper, bye, which I kind of like how they sort of downplayed the bye by kind of putting the they live over the bye and having it not be kind of as crass. Like, they could have just put it here, which would have been pretty funny, in my opinion. But then the magazine, and then the TV. And there's really not a whole lot to show off besides the front and the back. So, but yeah, so pretty good trip to Value Town at half price that time. So, and I'm genuinely happy I got to see this again. And, you know, even though there's a lot of gross stuff in here, like, some of the kills really made me wince when I saw them, like, as a kid. So, not sure how much I'll have evolved on that. But I'm really happy about these as well. And, you know, some people really love this, so curious to see what all the fuss is about. So, anyway, hope you enjoyed our little breakdown here. So like, share, subscribe, let me know what you think, and we'll be back to keep you company.